Yeah, at least for the side of Portugal, you can see this as kind of a W in their eyes. They got a point. I don't think that's what anyone expected them to be able to do. I think getting a point at this rate is pretty much a dub for the side of Portugal. They're probably feeling pretty good about themselves that they even got a point, considering they were the 31st seed, I think.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. And that Hard Rock 2 performance was really close as well. That could have been theirs as well. A lot to take away for Portugal for this year's CWC, I believe. I think Trace has finally found a squad that he can build on, and he can come back stronger next year, definitely. Portugal is one of those countries that is rising through the rankings, such as, for example, Argentina, which we'll be seeing in 80 minutes from now. But once again, huge congratulations to Finland, but also huge congratulations to Portugal for what they've shown us. And I do believe a lot of people are going to remember that mixed match against South Korea, and obviously the mixed match against Finland, their very first point in, I believe, Portuguese CDC history. So we were here; they made history today.
Oh yeah, and I think Mixmod showing that they had a good performance on Mixmod is one of the bigger things to think about. Is that means they have 3 players who are consistent at pretty much everything, and all they have to do is build around those 3 players with the Hidden, the Hard Rock, and the Nomad, and then they could get a strong core pretty fast building off of that.
Definitely, definitely. So a lot of takeaway from Portugal. But continuing forward, we see Malaysia versus Argentina, which will be starting about 17 minutes. And this is once again a loser bracket match. So either Malaysia or Argentina are going to be knocked out in the round of 16, which is something really terrifying to think about, in my opinion. That such, well, CWC history, in my opinion, are going to be knocked out this early. But that is how it is, sadly. I think we'll be taking a small commentary break. I think the stream is going to stay up for 70 minutes, and then we'll be back in about 17 minutes from now.
Yeah.
All right, then everyone, do grab yourself some CBC foods, and be sure to tune in 17 minutes from now for a really huge loser bracket match once again. And after that, I believe the clash between European Titans, France and Italy, one of the most hyped up matches for this weekend, definitely. So a lot to look forward to for the rest of today. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming to this one, me, Sakura, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll catch you guys later. So definitely do take care.
on the mic, yo, rip up the bass.
Forced.
Malaysia is somewhat favored on Hidden for now. They do have Saikai, which are, I mean, probably top 3, top 4 Hidden players in the world, especially in like later pools. But obviously still only around the 16th, so this might be choke territory for Saikai. But we'll see how and who plays for Argentina. That's even a bigger question mark for me currently.
Yeah, seeing who this third member on the side of Argentina will be is kind of going to set the tone of this match, I think. And we actually do see Narcs in the lobby is on the side of Malaysia. So I'm assuming that's going to be actually Argentina's third member. Narcs is part of Argentina, just on the wrong side of the screen right now.
Yeah, that's Narcs making his first appearance in the OC Catch World Cup and his first appearance in any OC Catch World Cup as well. So that is honestly, I think, one of the most promising players that are new to the World Cup this year. So really good to finally see him here on the stage. But I can remember my very first map in the World Cup, and it didn't go well. So this might be something Argentina has to think about, because that very first map, you're going to be really, really nervous.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be a bit more nervous than usual, but hoping for the side of all players involved that they don't feel as many nerves. They can at least keep together a little bit, but you always got to get over that little bump when you first start.
Yeah, definitely. We see Sir Gonza, Saikai, and Narcs. I mean, the Argentina trio coming in for, well, Argentina, and on the other side, also lucky the ETNL, Ricky, and Murat attack. So that's a really solid hidden roster in Malaysia as well. So this one is going to be relatively close, I believe. I'm curious to see how well Narcs is going to be playing on this map in particular, but also just in general. And I'm not too familiar with Sir Gonza's hidden skills either. So, but Malaysia's first pick, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think this is also kind of the map where you can test out sort of hidden skill versus just general skill, because this map has a lot of general skill patterns in which you need to actually hit a certain base in your skill level to be able to hit the patterns themselves even without hidden. So maybe we're seeing some of that come on the side of Argentina, where they're generally better at these types of patterns. We're going to see the first miss come from DTNL Ricky.
Yeah, Sir Gonza trading that though, but then Ricky missing once again is going to give an early advantage for Argentina, but Saikai dropping. We see a lot of early miss on this. These streams are kind of rough. Murder Deck also triple miss coming from Malaysia. Only Narcs, one player that hasn't played a CBC map, is the only one I've seen currently. That's huge from him. Saikai dropping once more, but it's already 1,000 score advantage in favor of Argentina.
Yeah, the score gap is going to get slightly smaller as we see that score from Saikai's latest miss sort of get recouped on the side of Malaysia. But everybody coming into this sort of middling part, very strong. Everybody has a combo over 200. At this point, we're kind of just waiting for more misses if we get any more.
Hopefully, we saw in the last match that this part's relatively easy, but then Australia and Dito and Ricky are missing, and that's going to give a huge advantage in favor of Argentina. Sorry, it's missing. Actually, double miss coming from Argentina, only single miss coming from Ricky. So, Murder Attack versus Story on the bottom side right now. 50,000 score difference between these two teams. Lucky dropping once more, so not going to help Malaysia. And only 1 quarter left. Sir Gonza ends up trading, but that's just really huge buffer Argentina has built.
Yeah, we do see some really huge combos on the side of Murder Attack and Saikai, building it back quite strongly in this second half of the map. And to see more misses from Loki and Ricky at the end, but it's just gonna seal the deal. It's about a 200,000 point lead in favor of Argentina taking the first breakpoint.
Yeah, 2.8 million on this score, of this map rather, is a really good Steam score, and Narcs being the MVP with slightly outscoring Murder Attack on the Malaysian side, and that is a banger performance coming in for this very first CVC map. I'm honestly really amazed by Narcs currently. 7 misses on the Argentinian side, but that's 34 misses on the Malaysian side, so Malaysia kind of struggling a little bit more than they probably anticipated on this one, but only a 1 breakpoint disadvantage for them right now. So 1-0 in favor of Argentina, and they're to pick next, and I'm assuming they're going to rub into that. So actually, never mind, no Matu. That's a somewhat weird pick in my opinion, but quick workout. So time to our sentence. We already saw it in the last match as well. A double FC coming from them. I assume at least 2 FCs coming from Argentina in this one as well.
Yeah, and this is the kind of map that honestly I expected Malaysia to go with on their next pick. I think this is definitely the easier remaining Nomad of the pool. So it's very possible that we see a lot of FCs on this one coming out. I believe we had 2 FCs on the side of Finland and a choke at the very end in our last match.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. So that's why I was a little surprised when I saw Argentina pick this. But yeah, they're probably the reasons. I would have personally probably went for hard 3 or double time 1. I think Argentina is heavily favored on those type of maps, but we'll see. We see Nox actually leaving the lobby, so that might be actually Ryu dropping in instead of Nox. It's just also surprising to me. So Argentina switching things up just a little bit, whilst Malaysia just has their 3 players staying in. Actually, Lute's coming in instead of Ricky.
So we're seeing 2 member swaps, 1 for each team. It's going to remain pretty similar. I think the scores and possibly the outcome from the last match. I think Argentina is definitely a bit favored on the Nomad, but it could definitely go either way. I think the score gap is going to be a bit less than the last map, but we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I just thought about might be like counterintuitive picking, as in we're going to pick what they want to pick. So in like 3 or 4 maps, they have nothing left to pick, which could work out. I've never tried it myself, but it could be a strategy.
Possibly.
Or they just feel really confident on this. That might also be the case. About the map, it's 1 minute 53 in length. It's a little less than 900 combo, if I'm not mistaken. Air 9.3, but it's quite high CS, so it feels quite dense and a little slower. So it's easy to trip up on some of the streams. And Rio being the first to drop, so early advance in favor of Malaysia.
Yeah, the big thing is that mess was before 200 combo. Murat Attack is going to find the second miss right about 190 combo, so it's not completely at the score combo cap, but Riri does find a miss right in this slow section coming into the next sort of bursty part.
Lute and Ostroki and Sir Gonza and Saika still holding on to NFC. Saika and, well, actually no SSs to be seen on the Malaysian side. Sir Gonza the only one with an SS on the Argentine side. But he ends up dropping as soon as they say that, though, so that's going to increase its score in favor of Malaysia, all 3 above 200 combo. So that is capitalized to the fullest right now, but Lute ends up trading that miss from Sir Gonza from a little earlier, halfway through the map. But Malaysia can see they're in front, and that's going to give them a huge morale boost, I do believe, or some nerfs, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I think for the side of Malaysia, it's going to probably be a bit of a morale boost. These players have been here for quite a long time as a team. Murat Attack especially has been here for quite a few years. Riri does get a miss in this sort of bursty part right before the chorus. That's not going to help the side of Argentina out. Murat Attack and Lute do find 2 misses right there. That's going to be really sketchy. Astro Loki finding the 3rd miss on the side of Malaysia is going to flip right into the side of Argentina. Oh,
that
that's
is
painful.
so unfortunate. Complete meltdown coming from Malaysia, and Saika and Sir Gonza are just holding on, and that's going to be a huge difference maker in favor of Argentina. They need to see misses coming in from all 2 players currently in Malaysia, or they are going to be losing this pick as well. And I do believe that's sadly going to be the case. Only a spinner at the end. That's going to be a 100,000 score difference, but that's so unfortunate for Malaysia because they had such a huge advantage, but then all 3 of them missing that little rough section right past the halfway mark, and that's going to be a second point for Argentina. But this one was really, really close, as we already anticipated, actually. And Saika with the FC, so beautiful score coming from him. Sir Gonza with a 1 miss, but sadly for Malaysia, 2-0 scoreline. So Argentina ends up confirming their breakpoint, which is really good. Every time you get a breakpoint, you want to confirm it, right? You don't want the other team to break back because then you're once again in even state. And now we have this buffer, right? It creates a different dynamic in your match. You have like a buffer. If you lose 1 pick, who cares, right? Because we still have that buffer. So really good for Argentina.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a bit on the questionable side of a pick for Argentina, though. That was only about a 100,000 point gap, and Malaysia held the advantage for most of the map until they had a breakdown in the very final 30 seconds or so. So that could have been very, very bad for Argentina if it just didn't find as many misses towards the end as they did on the side of Malaysia.
Yeah, I also find it a little weird that they drop out Narcs when he, well, top performed on that hidden 3 pick.
Yeah.
Right before, and I believe he's a Nomad main, right? So that's a really weird strategy by Argentina, but it's ended up working in the end. So that's it. Yeah, nothing lost for them for now. I'm curious to see what Malaysia is going to be picking. I would assume they either go for Mixed Mod or Hidden 2, or actually perhaps Nomad 1, given how this Nomad 2 pick was actually quite close. or Nomad 3. Actually, I think Malaysia is quite a good convert players. I forgot about that. So we could see, well, I keep mentioning different maps, and I'm almost done with the entire pool, but I'm assuming I will be seeing it.
Mixed mod too.
Mixed mod 2. Alright. So convert, hidden, and mixed mod. So it's all a combination of everything I said before. But this one, I think it's a really good pick coming from Malaysia.
Yeah.
I think Murder Tech is definitely going to be the harder player, and then Astro Loki on hidden, and I would assume Loot on Nomad or something like that. Well,
Probably
actually,
something
Murder
around those lines. Something that
Yeah.
I'm a bit curious about is what is Argentina going to do on mixed mod? Now, I'd say that Saikai is by far their best hard rock and their best hidden player, but you can only play one, right?
Yeah.
So if you're gonna put him on something, it's gonna be one of those two. I'd personally put him on hard rock, considering hard rock is the more important mod, I'd say, for mixed mod. Has the score multiplier 1.12, and it's also just typically going to be harder than hidden, especially on something that's AR 9.3 like this. So that's going to be something that we'll have to see, and yeah, we are going to see Saikai picking up that hard rock. Gonzo's going to be on the hidden, and on the side of Malaysia, we're going to see Loot picking up the hard rock, and Astro Loki picking up hidden, with Ricky and really being both the Nomad players.
Yeah, Argentina switching things up. I believe last week Psycho was a hidden player and Gonzo with a harder player, so those two players switch roles.
Yeah, it'll probably
Sargazo-
depend on what the map is. I'm assuming if it's like a low AR hidden, Saikai might have to go on to that low AR hidden role. But if it's something like 9.3, I'm assuming Gonzo has the confidence to be able to play something like that pretty confidently.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. All players seem to be catching the beginning, but Deals are Ricky being the first to drop, and actually 4 misses on the bottom side. Only the hidden players holding on, similar to that Finland versus Portugal match. So really weird dynamic currently, but Loot dropping once again is going to be given early advantage in favor of Argentina. And Ricky slightly struggling on the Nomad. That's not what you want to see. So Loki dropping once again, but Psyche as well. But Rio and Gonzo, actually Gonzo the only FC left in the room, only after 300 comment to the map. So a lot of misses on this beginning of this mixed mod map. It's a slightly slower, calmer section this, so people can build some combo. Loot above 200. Saikai dropping Loot trading immediately, and Riki dropping as well, and Rio is not traded. So once again, one misadvantage for Argentina. It's kind of fortunate for Malaysia. Astro Loki definitely holding on, but he needs his teammates to step up, and Loot dropping once over Saikai trading immediately. A lot of misses coming from Saikai, actually, more than I anticipated myself.
This is definitely something that you wouldn't anticipate on the side of Saikai. Saikai obviously being one of the top 10 players in the world. You usually don't expect them to be missing this much on a round of 16 map. Really does find it a limit. So Gonza finally breaks on the side of Argentina, and that's gonna possibly swing some points on the side of Malaysia. It's not gonna be enough. They probably need at least a few more misses on the side of Argentina to be able to swing it completely. But they are building a little bit of score at least.
They need Rio to drop. Actually, Loot is beating Saikai right now, so they only need Rio to drop it. The maps come to an end, only like 8 left, and Rio seems relatively confident right now. And he's going to be taking away the MVP, I do believe, for this one. Astro Loki dropping once more. That's going to wrap things up for Argentina. And Rio actually stepping up for Argentina. Probably their least known player, right? And he does end up only getting a 1 miss on this map. And that's going to be a 3rd point for Argentina. But Argentina, this looked shaky, rather, in my opinion. I don't think this is the performance they were anticipating. But then again, they won another breakpoint, actually. So we completely forgot this was Malaysia's pick. So that's a 3-0 scoreline for Argentina, 2 breakpoints ahead. And things are getting one-sided right now. Malaysia definitely has to step up their game and try to get 1 point on the board to then continue forward. Because a 3-0 scoring and a 2-1 scoring, for example, would be a completely different situation.
For sure, for sure. Now, I'm curious what the next pick is going to be for Argentina. You have to think that possibly it's going to be something on the bit of the harder end. I don't know if you really want to go with hard rock because of how Saikai played on that last hard rock on the mixed mod. Possibly you could say maybe he wasn't as prepared for it. We're going to be seeing DT4. I think that's a... I don't know. I don't think that's the best of picks that you could come in with. Malaysia has been shown that they're pretty decent on converts. And something like this where it's very movement heavy, it's kind of like asking to get kind of destroyed by a convert skill set, in my opinion.
Yeah, I somewhat agree on that, definitely. But Malaysia does seem to be struggling a little bit with nerves, because I do believe on that mixed map there was way more in their tank, but sadly they just weren't able to convert that into actual point right now. So, but I do think double time is the right bracket for Argentina. I would have preferred somewhat a double time 1 or a double time. Actually, double time 3. No, not stay away from double time 3. I would have preferred double time 1. But double time 4, I think, can do the case well. Air 8.5 is relatively. It's on the higher side. I think most people are still comfortable with it, but it's already getting air 9.9, if I'm not mistaken, after double time is added. So that's close to hard rock territory, right? So.
Yeah, 8.5 goes to exactly R10, I believe. Probably one of the two. Yeah, so as long as you can play hard rock and play air 8.5 with double time, you're just getting used to catcher speed. And that's probably going to be the big thing for all the players on this map, is having the increased catcher speed on a movement map like this is really, really tricky, right? This map is so tricky with the movement where you have to just do so tiny movements on every single note, and if you go slightly too far or slightly too short on any note, you just miss.
Yeah, I think this is a great, how to say it, a great tester for like nerves. I think a player with nerves is going to be choking on this a lot because it's a really honestly it's an I wouldn't say an easy map. It's a really good map. It's really wiggle, also quite a wiggle heavy actually as well. But a lot of tiny movements, splatter control, all of those terms, and those do not pair well with nerves. So I'm curious to see how all 6 of these players are going to be playing on this. We see Rio, Sargonza, Saikai staying in. On the other side, Astroloki, Loot, and Ricky as well. I'm surprised to not see Mirth attack on this, but might be just how they want to perform this. Sargonza being the first to drop at 40 combo shouldn't matter in the end unless Malaysia triples F season. I think there's still like a lot of spinners in the map, so they might be able to even overcome that with a spinner. Actually, it's quite a huge score up though. And Rio dropping once as well, so that's going to give an early advantage in favor of Malaysia. And the early part of this map is probably the hardest part.
Yeah.
Like, starting from 400 combo, it gets relatively easier, I would say. So, and Rio dropping once more is not helping.
Yeah, and the fact that Malaysia is still holding triple FC is right in this white power say that actually does find the first miss for Malaysia, but it is pretty impressive. And there, honestly, there they all go. Maybe I just shouldn't have spoke, but it's a bit unfortunate. The score is going to be going right to Argentina any second now, but actually, I don't know. Rio keeps finding a few misses, and it's going to be evening out, actually.
Yeah, this is going to get really close, actually. Rio dropping a couple of times, but I think due to that losses from Ricky is going to give it.
Yeah, it's going to go slightly Argentina. Very slightly, probably about 10,000, 15,000 points, I think, is going to be the difference. Once everybody reaches these 200 combos, we're going to see them all getting that flip right here. It's probably going to be at least a few more misses in this map. Ooh, only 4,000 here.
Okay, I think Rio's movement seems really shaky, so that's something to look out for because he did miss a lot already. So if Malaysia can capitalize on those misses, they could definitely get. Actually, this is pretty much tied. I'm not sure how Argentina's not in front because Taylor Reeks is only hitting turn combo now. Might be spinner definitely, and this is getting.
Yeah, Rui also had the same combo as well right there, so they were kind of gaining score at the same time. It might be a spinner diff if every team can hold, but it's going to be really hard for all these teams to hold, even though the ending is a bit easier than the rest of the map. Loot does get a miss on the side of Malaysia. That's not what you want to see if you're a Malaysian fan right now. Saikai and Rui missed though.
Okay, yeah. It's Sargonza versus Astroloki right now, but
Ricky gets another miss.
Oh, this is getting really close at the end. They need one more miss from Argentina to get this back, but this is way closer than I think Argentina anticipated. Getting until the end. The end is not missable if I'm not mistaken, but you know, this is really close actually. 10,000 points. Ricky dropping once, but that's going to seal the deal for Malaysia. That's so unfortunate because there was so much potential in this map. Ends up being a 22,000 score difference, but this was really close. Sargonza with a one miss, beautiful score coming from him with 1,048 combo as well. So pretty close to an FC. That's actually pain, as Astroloki pointed out, because this was definitely a pick Malaysia could have won. Ricky at the end, slightly struggling, is going to be the difference maker for this one. But Astroloki also with a one miss. Story beating Story, who has a two miss. So I mean, it's been a story of almost for Malaysia in this match. I think there's a couple of points where they almost won. Nomad 2, Double Time 4 come to mind. They almost got that point, and we could have been looking at a 2-2 scoreline, which is a completely different match. But it's Malaysia's third pick coming up, but they have to win this one, you imagine. Because
they kind of have to at this point. It's going to be pretty much a do or die situation for Malaysia. And
But it's a
honestly,
beautiful score coming from Malaysia. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, they had a really good score. It's one of those maps where you were kind of surprised that Argentina picked it because I think it plays right into Malaysia's skill sets. And at this point, you gotta wonder, what do Malaysia go with? Personally, I think DT3 is a great pick. You just saw that Argentina's pretty weak at being consistent, especially on these early rounds. You're a team that's pretty much built on this consistency, and I think DT3, you can kind of hope that they get a few misses. You probably have to try to do your best, try to get a good score, and probably couldn't get a point on DT3, is at least my opinion.
I think
After
there's
that-
3 maps that come to mind. I think Hidden 2 as well, perhaps, and Nomad 3 or Nomad 4. I think those just gotta go for converts. I feel like just
Yeah,
stay away from specifics if you're Malaysia.
yeah, that is exactly what I would say as well. I think probably Nomad 4 would be better than Nomad 3 and Hidden 2. That's my opinion at least. So Nomad 3
Nomad
is going to
3.
be a pick. I think it's still a decent pick. It's definitely one of the better picks remaining. So you could see some good scores from this. I think this
And we
map definitely has a lot of miss potential. There's patterns that you can get very caught out on. There's one pattern towards the end that is kind of a memory pattern, not really, but if you're not prepared for it, you'll definitely miss it. And that's going to cost some teams a few misses for sure, I'd say.
Yeah, we saw Argentina somewhat struggling against Singapore on the Nomad convert as well, so I think it's a really good pick. Plus, we get to enjoy this beautiful song. This song is so good, so I'm really happy they picked this one and not Nomad 4, because Nomad 3 song is 10 times better in my opinion. But
True,
we see
I agree.
Ryu dropping out, so I think... Actually, never mind, he's coming back. We haven't seen Karane in this match, which is also somewhat surprising in my opinion. I would have expected... Actually, we've seen Nox making his reappearance in this one. That's really a good decision in my opinion.
And that's about what you would expect, in my opinion, seeing Narcs come back in. We'd also do see Maru Attack coming back in. That's another thing that you would probably expect here. Kagari coming in on the side of Malaysia as well. Going to be a bit of a different lineup for both teams.
Yeah, Malaysia definitely gonna switch things up, which is a good thing. Curious to see if they can convert this one to a point. As we said already, if they lose this one, they're looking at 6 match points and elimination, and that's... I don't think that's a bridge they can cross. That's
tough.
It's really, really tough. And I think Murder Attack, especially a really good combat player. I think Loot as well has shown us quite a decent combat skill, especially in that DT4. Played really, really well. On the other side, Saikai, Gonzo, and Nox is a really, really, really terrifying roster to face. Do somewhat, how would you say, they do somewhat struggle with consistency, and I think this map is all about consistency, Nomad convert consistency rather. So this could give some leeway towards Malaysia, but I wouldn't want to face Organza, Saika, and Nox in like your quarterfinals or semifinals pool, because the 3 of them seem really, really scary.
For sure.
About the map, it's 4 minutes in length, or 3 minutes 40. It's really consistency based. There's a couple of some hyperdashes are quite wide, so in my first run I kind of got messed up by those a couple of times, so that could happen to players as well. The rest is pure consistency based, I would say. Some streamy, heavy. Those, by the way, those tiny breaks in those patterns right after, it's easy to mess those up if you haven't practiced the map. And I believe Saikai is side reading, because he did point out he hadn't played an entire week, so that does indicate he hadn't had time to practice the maps. And Saikai and Kagari trading misses there on the very same note, so that's going to balance things out. With Kagari dropping once more is going to give only a slight advantage, because he only has 50 combo towards Argentina.
Yeah, this is the kind of map that I'd say you would need to play at least once, because there's quite a few jumps that are just pretty far, and even if you are one of the best players, it's like you're not going to be able to catch some of them, especially the one at the end that we will see. I think it's about like 1,200 combo or something like that. Yeah, it's just a very, very far slider pixel jump kind of pattern.
Yeah, I fully agree. You have to play this type of map at least once. Nox dropping, and that's going to be 1 FC falling for Argentina once again, but Kagari trading that one, so it's still going to stabilize somewhat. Luda Murder Attack versus Organza currently, but Nox dropping once more. Actually, it's going to get quite tight, I do believe.
Yeah, I think it'll just about even up. It'll be maybe a few thousand point lead for Argentina once everything is all settled, but that's still nothing that you can really take away and be like, okay, we're comfortable with this. No, you're definitely not comfortable. Loot and Kagari finding 2 misses. It's very unfortunate.
that's going to hurt Malaysia a lot. And Saikai and Sargonza especially still on to a double S right now. Beautiful performance. 2 turns into this map, and it's yeah, they're 2 misses ahead right now. So if at least 2 players from Argentina can hold on, they have this wrapped up. The ending is a little somewhat rougher, but that's also rougher for Malaysia though, and they have to keep holding on. So not sure if they can come back from this. 2 misses still, 1 quarter left. The song is so good though, honestly.
It is
really good.
Dude getting another miss right as he was about to hit that 200 combo mark. Pretty unfortunate. The score gap's going to be about 100,000 points, and at this point, even if Argentina all hit that pattern I was talking, or all missed that pattern I was talking about, and Malaysia all hit it, it's going to be quite too late into the map, I think, for them to be able to pull a comeback. Sargonza does get a miss as the FC down on the side of Argentina. Maybe something could happen in the final few seconds of this map.
Yeah, all eyes on Murder Attack currently with that FC, but wow, what a curse from me. My apologies, Murder Attack. Nox ends up trading. They need Saikai to drop. They need Gonzo to drop. I think the map is... There's not enough time left. And that was the pattern. Everyone caught it.
Everybody caught it.
This is not looking bright for Malaysia. Triple miss coming across the board. 2 misses on Argentina, but they had such a huge buffer from those early misses from Kagari and Loot, and that's going to be it. And it's going to be 70,000 point difference. It's not a lot, right? It's once again almost. It's not a lot score difference, but sadly, Argentina's just a tad better, I would say, currently, or a tad less nervous, perhaps.
It's just very, very slight score differences, and that's honestly all it takes for a 5-0 scoreline like this to happen. If you're ahead by like 20,000 points in every map, hey, that's enough. You know, you don't need to win every map by 200, 300,000 points.
True, definitely true, but it's I would say the 5-0 score isn't fair to Malaysia, in my opinion, currently, because they've been playing really, really well, and they're really close to Argentina. But they're always on the other side of the coin. I think that's not the same, but you know what I mean. Either way, 6 match points for Argentina, and they have to pick as well. So it's not looking bright for Malaysia, and they're facing elimination once again. Third team to be eliminated if there was a loser's pick. So I'm curious to see where Argentina is going to go. I would say Hard Rock 2.
Yeah,
could be...
if there is one thing, like you said, Hard Rock 2.
Wow.
I think that's probably a pretty decent pick on the side of Argentina. It's probably one of the better picks they could go with. I'm not sure if Malaysia could field 3 players who could consistently play a Hard Rock map like this. This one also has a very tricky ending, which I think will favor Argentina.
Yeah. I think this
actually,
is also
the fact that
song is cool.
That is true. The fact that story is sight reading, though, that's going to be... I don't know. I don't know if you can hit this ending with sight reading. It's really, really hard to be able to sight read this ending.
Yeah, it feels, how would you say it, like, it goes right, left, left. That's how I remember the pattern, but it feels so counterintuitive that second right and that, like, third left, they feel so counterintuitive. So, indeed, if Saikai, I'm not 100% sure he's sight reading, but he did say he hadn't played an entire race, so I'm assuming he is. But I think Sargonza, for example, did practice maps, so he could tell Soria, hey, sorry, it's like right, left, so he could perhaps memorize it, but I'm not entirely sure. But
even then, it's like
account for. Yeah,
you're telling the guy it's like right, left. It's like, huh? What did you just say? You know,
Also
it's one of those things that you truly have to just go in, see for yourself. Like,
yeah,
that's what it is.
Yeah. But alright, 6 match points for Argentina. Sargonza, Saikai, and Narcs staying the same roster on the other side. Astroloki stepping in for Kagari for this hard work. We see 3 players equipping Hidden. Actually, we haven't talked about that, but Hidden is just purely for reading purposes. Some people prefer it. Not entirely sure why, because in my opinion it doesn't help, but for some people it does, and it does not give any score bonus. That's also something to note. The map's 800 combo in length, only 2 minutes, so relatively short. And there's 1 tricky pattern around 650, and the ending is really, really rough. So those are 2 things to look out for. We see Nox being the first to drop in the beginning section. So early advantage once again towards Malaysia. I believe they had the early advantage for the majority of the maps. Loot trading 1 miss from Nox, but still advantage of Malaysia.
Yeah, this advantage is very, very small. It's only like maybe 10,000 points, I think, and that advantage is gone with Astroloki and Loot finding 2 more misses. Mirror attack, the third on the side of Malaysia. That's not going to be a good sign. It's really not what you want to see.
Malaysia somewhat falling under the pressure, I would say. Saika and Surganza, on the other hand, holding onto a double S beautifully. Plenty of room still, but that score is already 200,000 points, and it's massive because this map is so short, and Rototech dropping once more. It's not looking bright for Malaysia right now, halfway into this harder 2 pick. And Narc stepping up after some initial miss there. And then looking like a beautiful team score coming in from Argentina currently. But we're approaching that harder part, and we might see misses coming in there.
Yeah, Story and Saikai and National Loki do find a miss right before this bursty section, heading right into this chorus. National Loki does get another one right at the start of the chorus. A bit unfortunate.
Rototech dropping once more. Quarrel left. Narcs and Surganza still on the FC right now. Beautiful from him. And I believe there's no time left for Malaysia, sadly. Luch
Yeah.
Rototech dropping once more. Let's see if
I wonder who's going to hit the ending. Wow, they actually all hit it except for Root Attack at the very end.
Yeah, that is surprising. But at
That's pretty
3.2
impressive in my opinion.
million from Argentina. Actually, 2 of them do end up missing on the, well, from Malaysia
Final
rather,
little
two of them missing
slider.
on the slider. But that's a beautiful team score coming from Argentina. Beautiful C from coming from the Surganza, and a 6-0 scoreline for Argentina. Sadly, we have to say goodbye to Malaysia this year. But honestly, I feel for Malaysia because they were really close and on multiple picks, and I would have given them the point at the very least. But sadly, that is not the case. And Argentina live to fight another day. Or I think that's the saying. My English sayings are not that great, to be honest. But either way, Argentina will be going on into the loser bracket quarterfinals, where they'll be facing off the loser of Taiwan-Mexico. So there are some really spicy matchups looking there. And then Malaysia, sadly, will be knocked out in 25th to 32nd place this year.
Yeah, and even though Malaysia did get swept, they had a pretty good performance in my opinion. They had quite a good showing, even though all the scores went on the side of Argentina. Like we said, the scores are pretty close on almost all the maps, so huge props to the Malaysian players. They did pretty good, in all things considered.
Here are your winners for today. Argentina, Kurane, Duki, Modiabo. We haven't seen both of them, but Saika, Ryusur, Gonza, and Narcs making his debut in the OC Catch World Cup, winning quite confidently against Malaysia. Well, confidently in the sense that it's a 6-0, but the maps are really, really close. But then again, a win is a win, and they have to just look forward for next week, because next week there's a terrifying matchup coming their way.
Yeah, and speaking of terrifying matchups, oh boy, have we got a terrifying matchup for you coming in about 23 minutes. This matchup is probably the matchup of the week. We have Seed 8 versus Seed 9, Italy versus France. Oh man, this match is going to be insane, honestly.
Yeah, European blood getting spilled for no reason whatsoever, sadly. But we see the 2 European titans facing off against each other. A repeat of the European Catch Cup final, but now Titobas and Natsuko are both there for France as well. So really looking forward to this one. Definitely want to check that out, because that is going to be one banger of a match.
For sure. And then just a few hours after that, we do have another match for the day coming with Canada-Russia. That one's also going to be one of the better matches in my opinion. It's a bit later than the France-Italy match, about 3.5 hours after it, but it is still within a reasonable time span. So don't be going away for too long. We'll probably be taking a quick 20-minute break for the stream, so that way you guys can maybe go get some rest, snacks, something. Go do whatever, get up, move around, you know. Maybe you have a little bit of work that you need to do over the weekend. Who knows?
FC illness, for example. There's plenty of things to do. But we'd like to thank you for watching once again. This was once again Secretary and Quentin commentating this one. And once again, be sure to do not miss France vs Italy, because you'll miss the banger of the weekend. Alright everyone, take care, and we'll see you again.